Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our podcast covering
Regular Show, the movie.
We can't believe that we haven't covered all of the Regular Show before now. So this is our second podcast on some part of the Regular Show.
Right.
Now, possibly Cartoon Network's most unregular movie, it shows Mordecai and Rigby on a mission to save the universe. When their broken friendship, yes, it actually happened in the future, causes the end of the universe.
Yes.
In true Regular Show fashion.
Right. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and Pause videos.
Absolutely.
So
this was an unexpected movie.
Yes.
When it originally came out, no one was expecting this. I mean, it was truly unexpected.
Yes.
And it aired on Cartoon Network, and then when it came out to purchase, we got it.
Yes.
But this was something no one expected, and this is when we began to learn that when Cartoon Network starts giving somebody a movie, they're about to cancel them and take them off.
Right. Now, thankfully, this wasn't the finale to Regular Show, but you knew it was coming close because they had about 8 seasons. This came around season 6 or 7 because before they went into space. So even though this wasn't the end, you knew it was coming to an end. This was like your signal, like the beginning of the end, basically.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is the pattern that Cartoon Network still has to this day. When they start giving a show a big movie, they're already been canceled, and they're about to air either their last season, or they've aired the last season, and the movie is the sign-off.
Right.
But fortunately, this movie actually was interesting, and again, it was unexpected. It was something different. We got to see both Mordecai and Rigby, as well as the rest of the employees of the park, in totally different lights and in totally different versions of themselves versus what you normally see every day.
Right. And we had mentioned this before in our previous Regular Show podcast that as the show went on, the characters started to change a little. The story actually started to change a little. Regular Show's whole thing was that they were two slackers, did stupid things, caused almost the end of the world, gotta fix it, and they're done by the end. They go back to being stupid. Here, their stupid actions have consequences this time. And this is when Regular Show started to be a little less irregular, a little more home-hitting, where now this was more about a movie about making choices that could change or in your life or could come back to bite you in the butt if you make the wrong choice. And in this case, it happened with Rigby. And you don't know what caused their friendship to be broken until you get further into the movie. And while they've always had their fights and things, they usually just fight it out. You play punchies or something, and that's the end of it. But this time, this was something that could have been permanent if Rigby didn't do something about it.
Mm-hmm. And they kept telling Rigby, you had some fun parts, although this was the most serious. They haven't had serious episodes. They've had some serious elements, but this movie was very serious. And again, this is why I was really surprised that this movie had been written like this and made. But they kept telling Rigby, oh, this is the coolest you've ever looked.
Right, that really grew into it.
He had the big beard on, and he wasn't acting like a jerk the way he normally did, and he was able to actually do something badass, and they were just like, wow. And even Benson was impressed.
Right. And you see in this future where it's, once again, no surprise, post-apocalyptic.
But the only one who doesn't appear, I have to say, is Thomas.
Right, which, now you know who Thomas is. You could have really used him for this type of mission. You really could have. So for here, in the future, it looks like there's what they call a time NATO, and it's ripping apart fabric of time itself. And all of this started because of one thing Rigby did, which led to their volleyball coach pretty much going crazy and wanting to destroy them and almost destroying the universe itself. And the future itself, they're all, of course, the Resistance. They're all buff. They all got long hair. Everyone's a badass. It's the whole cliche, you know, comes with being in the future, and everyone is suddenly awesomer, even though everything is bleak.
And one thing that was weird about this movie, and there's no spoilers. This show has been gone on for years. If you haven't seen it, then you probably won't. There's no other way to put it. But what really was weird about this is in this future, Pops made it. But at the end of the series, they took him out.
Right.
So it was like, why did J.G. Quintel choose to change Pop's outcome at the end of the series? And that's what I thought about when we went back and watched this movie for yet another time, again. Why did he choose to take him out and not leave him in the future like he did here?
Right. He would just take a little longer to age, which clearly happened a lot with these characters. Some of them take forever to age, some age normally, and some age quickly. So you could have written whatever you want because there was nothing that was really set in stone for regular show. It could change a drop of a hat every single time. And another thing that was interesting was that we looked at the bonus feature section, and they really didn't have that much. All had to do with the making of the movie. Cartoon Network didn't seem to do any interviews or anything about the film. They just wanted to get it out, you go see it, that was it, which was odd for this network. But what they have...
another hint, they can't get ready to cancel.
Right. And some of the things that were interesting is that they had the storyboards on the little notepads and everything. But another thing that actually took us by surprise that this was almost an entirely different film. When we watched the animatic, it was almost 30 or 40 minutes, a whole different film. The coach actually wasn't really as crazy. He actually knew Mordecai and Rigby, and he hasn't been to the state where he was trying to destroy the universe. They made to work on time. There was no apocalyptic resistance in the future. It was more like he was in the present, about to destroy the future, and this was them trying to stop him from destroying the future before it happened. The future's already happened, so they gotta go back and prevent him from doing it. So it was actually a whole different film, and you almost you're curious what would have happened if this version of the film went through, because it looked like they would have a complete overhaul and made a new story. And regardless if it really fit in line with regular shows status quo, it's pretty interesting that they already had one story planned out, then made a new one, and had a nearly different story. So who knows what would have happened if you had two regular show movies.
Right. And in true regular show fashion, lots of things that couldn't possibly happen.
Yes.
They end up solving problems in ways that's unbelievable. And another thing that really stuck out about this movie is that usually Skips is the one who comes along with a solution. He can be the hero, but not this time.
Right, because so much was altered and the future was uncertain. It's like, okay, it's this one time Skips can't help. He just has to go along with everybody else this time. Most of the time, I think the biggest thing he had to do was make sure nothing happened to the ship until he left with Muscle Man and something happened to the ship. So don't leave anything with Muscle Man.
And another thing that stuck out is Benson wasn't angry and yelling.
No, not all the time. The biggest thing that he did, which ended up being the tagline for the movie, was, "You better save the universe or you're fired!"
Yeah, and that was it. None of his ranting, raving, turning red, and all the other stuff he normally does.
Right.
So, again, as we said, all of them were cool versions of themselves in the future. So, fortunately, in the movie, there's a happy ending. And who knows, maybe when this movie was originally done, it was supposed to be the ending. And they changed their mind and extended the series.
Right. Which just happened before. That actually happened with Disney, with Kim Possible. The film was supposed to be the finale, but fans loved it so much and wanted it back again, they gave it one more season to truly end it. So,
and Steven Universe.
Right, that too. So yeah, it's possible that this happened and we just were not aware of it. They didn't make it public. They just decided, okay, you can keep going for a little longer. So for what it is, it's a pretty great movie. It's very different from regular show does. Again, it seemed like they were trying to make it a little more serious, a little more grounded in terms of the characters, and I think it started being about them growing up, because when it got to the end, you know, Rigby actually got his high school diploma. He stopped being such a jerk to everybody. He got a girlfriend. Mordecai ended up kind of going backwards a little bit, ironically, after having with Margaret. Characters were really changing as it got towards the end, and it felt like they were either maturing or growing up, or, you know, things were happening in their life where they weren't the slackers they were at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the series. There were consequences to actions. They really had to think about the decisions they make better ones for the future. And it partially hurt the show a little bit, because you loved how just absurd it was, and you could just laugh how goofy it was. And part of it was good that it wanted to have more mature things, and part of it was sort of not great because you liked how it was. So I guess in a way it became a double-edged sword, where you weren't sure if it was a good thing it went through this or a bad thing.
True. But like every regular show episode in the series itself, it was entertaining. There were some fun parts. Again, it was more serious than any regular show episode.
Yes.
And everyone but Thomas made an appearance.
Right.
Kind of wish was a happy ending.
Right. Kind of wish he did now. Like I said, we know who he is, so he probably would have been a big help in this one.
And it would have made the movie a little different also, and given it more credibility, because, you know, he's a spy, so he could do a lot of things.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
So maybe they were like, well, we don't want him to be a hero. He didn't have to be the hero. It still could have been Mordecai and Rigby.
Right.
But he could have had input
and extra
help.
help.
Nice to see him again.
Yeah.
So if you've seen the regular show, the movie.
Right, and that's another thing. Why did they call it regular movie?
Yeah.
That's more fitting than regular show, the movie. It's not like regular movie. That sounds like I can't move from regular show to regular movie.
Right. But if you've seen it, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you own it like we do, or did you see it when it aired on TV? Do you miss this show as much as we do?
Yeah.
Tell us. We really want to know. If you haven't seen it, you will have to buy it. It's not going to ever be on Cartoon Network. Well, I should say that, because Cartoon Network, for their 30th anniversary, is bringing things back, so you might have been fortunate enough to see it by the time this airs.
Right.
If not, you can try to see, can you find it on Amazon? I don't know if it's there or not.
Right.
But you can try and see if you can find it in store or online.
Right. Far as we know, there's 3 seasons and the movie, along with some packs of episodes. We don't know if they released other seasons or a complete box set yet.
If you know, tell us in the comments.
Right.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. Feel free to share this podcast. If you have friends or family you know that loves the show, feel free to share on the community tab, wherever you share. We appreciate you. And if you want us to support your channel and see what you're doing, let us know in the comments below. Tell us the name of your channel, or even leave a link as well to make it easy for us. We'll be happy to follow you.
Yes, and if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, animated shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And more regular shows.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
And you know who else likes regular show the movie? My mom! Have a toontastic day.